Everyone, hello and welcome to Moto 2. It's a triple crown. Let's keep these rolling. Got an invert from our first Moto. We're going to have Hunter and Vulcan on the front row, Camby and Opix. Detail, Slaunch, Soul, Roman, and Luke starting in the back. We're doing rolling starts the whole way. Street courses, road courses as well, not just on the ovals. So rolling start again. 27's the checkpoint. 15 is the lap count. It's because of the pits. Green flag. Hunter with a great start. Let's see if we get any cheese here. Oh, no. Camby was a little too sideways. And Camby and Soul just got to wait for everybody to go. And that caused a pretty big traffic jam. And look at these gaps already. I suppose we could take a look at a replay here. Unless I get cheesed. Incoming. Okay, we're good. So let's see what happened here. So I'm not going to go back again. It's gonna cheese. We're close enough. So you can see Camby getting a little sideways, and Vulcan being right there as well, probably not helping. And Camby's just gonna get stuck here. And then Soul, I think it's just unfortunate. I'm not really sure how Soul gets stuck, but as you can see, Camby just got too sideways. Voice correct, and yeah, it was just done. And then for Soul, same thing. It was just done, and Opix, Roman, and Luke really get a bad part of it. They don't get the worst part of it. Obviously, Camby and Soul get the worst part of it, but they get the worst part of the traffic jam. So that's going to put them in a bit of a group early on. Who benefits from that? Who are we going to see in front? Who made the moves? It's Hunter. Hunter's leading Vulcan still. Detail was in that, but he's in third. Wow. Okay, interesting. Interesting, because he was like in the middle of that too, but still works his way out to third. Slaunch, and then yeah, Opix. Okay, yeah. Oh, big momentous coming from the middle of the pack there. Roman and Luke potentially battling. Detail and Vulcan potentially battling. We might have some spice on track. This is where you got to go to the first person here. This first turn's so difficult. One of the most important parts of the track. Oh, they're side by side. Wow, Luke and Roman doing it side by side a long ways. Let me go back to single file. But for how long? Everybody's like packed up here, so somebody's gonna make a move. Slaunch maybe having a look, thinking against it. Still going a little too wide. Slaunch might have an opening on him. Maybe not. Backs out of it. Luke and Roman really close. That might be a look there too. Well, now they're side by side. What happened? Detail must have lost a lot of time on the straightaway as well. We might have a double pass. Slaunch and Luke both trying to make it work around the right side here. And it looks like they're both going to complete the passes as well. Camby and Soul still in the back. Pits are going to be open now. Yeah, we just saw it. 2 on-track passes in 1 lap. It can be done. It can be done. Oh, yeah, Hunter, real rough in front through that first section, trying to hold off. The nice thing is, it is a very nice place to block. But that's the thing, right? You can make up a lot of time in this first section, but it's hard to make those passes. But once the pits come into play, you know, if somebody goes on a different strategy, you can't block that. You know, they're not right behind you. You can't just block them. So the pits really opening things up on this track. I think this track obviously would... Oh, there we go. Race very differently if the pits weren't a thing. Vulcan making a mistake, hitting the inside wall right there. Slaunch will take advantage. Oh, Detail trying to find the space. Not going to have it. Oh! Big send from Luke that's going to be on Opix. It might open up the door for Roman as well, but Opix, if he can just stay ahead enough. Oh, what happened in front of them? Hold up. We got to see this. Because I kind of remember this, but I don't remember this. What happened here? Oh. Oh. All right. Well, that makes a lot more sense. So on the replay here, as you can see, Hunter leading the pack and just maybe gets a little too much wheel hop, too much slide. And oh, yeah, he's just coming in so hot right there. Slammed the wall. Spins out. Slaunch, just perfect timing. Just going to slip right on by. But then Hunter rejoins and just a little squeeze on Vulcan. And that's going to get Detail as well, but Detail spun just nicely enough to save it and make a pass off of it, and then Luke's trying to take advantage. Roman and Opix, meanwhile, in their battle, and then Vulcan makes a play call. He's like, all right, screw it, I'm going to pit. Interesting play call. And who else went with him? Opix as well. Opix as well. Oh, interesting. Vulcan with the 1 bullet. Opix with a quick 2, and he just barely had his 2 tires in right there. That was nice and clean. And as you'd expect, I mean, Vulcan's going to have that gap hitting the 1 bullet. Opix hit the 2, but honestly, Opix might have low-key had the better... Where was he? Yeah, Opix, it must have been pretty close. He might have had a better pit, because Vulcan had the 1 last shot, but Opix came out pretty close. I think that was a really good pit. He got his tires literally on the edge. He could not have been any closer for it to be legal. Hit an extra bullet than Vulcan and still, wasn't able to make the pass, but it kind of seemed like he made up some time there. And there's absolutely time to be made up in the pits, and that's a thing that I love about this as well. What I was mentioning earlier with the first section of the track, a lot of time to be made up there. But again, this is something we've not been used to. There's time to be made up in the pits as well. I mean, honestly, some of these pits, not all of them, but... Oh, and Detail just going to go in for a Joker. Oh my god. It's because I was going to say Joker. Goes in for a pit, shoots a lot of his bullets there. What I was going to say is compared to the Joker, some of the Jokers, these pits, it could have more of a skill gap. Vulcan, yeah, he's just going to have a lot of bullets. He's going to go through them. I think I heard the reload on that. But yeah, like, some Jokers could have a pretty big skill gap. Others were pretty simple, and there wouldn't be that much of a, there wouldn't be that much time to be made or lost in them. It would just be, other than, it being a Joker, if that makes sense. There wasn't, like, too much different you could do. Not with all of them, but with some of them. And that's the interesting thing with the pits, is the pits is going to have... There's going to be time to be made in the pits on every track, right? It doesn't matter. Like, the pits are going to be difficult. Trying to avoid the penalties, trying to hit your strategy with the bullets, trying to put yourself in a good spot and make it easy for you to exit your pit, especially on this track. This track has an interesting, I like it, a unique variation on the pits. As you can see, there's those dips in between the pits, and it's interesting because it makes it so that you can't really cut. So you can't really cut your pits, but another interesting thing that it does is for getting out of your pit, it also spices it up as well, because you can't, like, if you're in the front pit box, you can't just, like, drive straight out. You have to dodge it as well. So not only for going into your pit is it almost like a chicane, or like a, well, not quite a chicane, but like a barrier for you to avoid it. It's kind of like that exiting as well. So on this track, more than most, maybe, with that extra variation on the pits, there's a lot of time to be made and lost there. So Luke comes out behind Soul. Update on the race. Slaunch, that start, already had a good start, and then got the free pass on Hunter, so that was huge. And Slaunch not wasting any time, trying to put a huge gap on the field here, doing a good job at that so far. So he should be looking strong at his own track here, trying to take a Moto win on Long Beach. Slaunch forging 2 tracks on the season. We'll see the other one in December. Funny that they ended up that spread out. Not intentional, but that is pretty funny. Almost completely spread out. Another pit coming in. Soul on this one. Nice and safe entry, which is not a bad play, again, like, especially on this track. Honestly, I kind of like those early pit boxes. Like, between the pit box that's, like, closer to the exit, if that makes sense, I kind of like the guys that picked the pit closer to the entry, if that makes sense. The first pit in a set of boxes. I mean, I guess you're going to have to dodge the dip anyways, but I don't know. The exit speed is so important, like... I think most people went for that top one, the frontmost one, but looking back on it, I kind of like the people that picked the one in the back. Just preference thing. I think it's kind of a nice one to have. But yeah, update on the race. So Slaunch just has that lead, but lots of pits. Slaunch, Hunter, and Roman have not come in for a pit yet. I think most other people, or everybody else has done one. So it's still Hunter's second. So Hunter's still holding on to second. We'll see what he does for his strategy. Oh, Roman's going to lose some time there. I thought he was going to go in with him, but Roman going to stay out, going to hit Hunter with the overcut. See if he can make that work there. Hunter, and I did this as well. As you can see, Hunter with a bad entry. He had to back out of his pit. I did that, I think, in this race as well. That is a easy mistake to make, and another place he could lose some time. And that's something that I like about these pits compared to the pits that I used to do in Adrenaline. So, fun fact, for people that don't know it, when we did pits and adrenaline way back, Halo Reach way back, it was a reset. So you'd go in your pit. There was no shooting or anything of the sort that like we have now. It was you're on the respawn timer. The gooses were on the respawn timer, like 10 seconds or whatever. And if you're out of your goose for 10 seconds, then you would spawn back in it. So that's how we did the pits. Is you'd go into your stall, you'd have to stay in your stall, get out of your goose, and then wait for the respawn. And the thing that I like about these pits compared to that is not only the strategy element, but what Hunter just did. Something that was kind of cheesy that you could do with that strat and adrenaline is you could just full speed absolutely just plow the pit wall, and it'd be faster. Get out of your goose, and your goose when you respawn is going to be straight, unlike Roman, who's coming out of his pit here. Just fuck. Detail is going to come out in front of him. But yeah, so that was the fastest way to do it, and it was just like kind of cheesy. I mean, it was just part of the system, but it was just kind of cheesy. It just looked kind of cheesy. Being able to just full send into your box. Not really, looking back on it, didn't really care at the time, but looking back on it, not really a fan of it. And yeah, that's another thing that I like about the strategy, the way that we have the pits here, is that you can't do that. You can't do what Hunter did. You're going to have to back out of your stall. It's going to be a slow pit. So yeah, Roman and Detail is going to be an on-track battle, but Detail, look at this. Detail on a different strategy. Detail's done. Detail's done. So we get an update. So what we're reading on the scoreboard, Slaunch, no pits taken. Luke, Hunter, Roman, Camby still have to take one. And Detail, Opix, Soul, and Vulcan are done. That's what this means, I believe. And I am correct as we see Roman going in for a second here. So yeah, Detail's got some great track position. Not the first moto that he was hoping for. He might be on for a good finish in this second one. Oh, my goodness. What the hell? Almost a murder in the pit lane. Something you got to watch out. Okay, so Slaunch did do his first pit, as we could see. We must have missed it, but he did do his first pit. So everybody has done at least one. Look at how close this was. Try to stay in your box, folks. Oh my god. I don't think Roman knew Hunter was coming behind him, but that's a good note for future races. No, I wanted to see that. God damn it. We'll rewind. I want to see this. That's a good note for everybody for future races. Try to stay in your stall. Please try to stay in your stall. As close as you can. So here we go. So Roman's going to be clear, but he's got the pack. I love moments like this. The pack roaring behind Hunter. And Soul is going to have to slow down for the corner. What is that? He was like doing a nose wheelie. Like, what was that? I don't know what the lag was on that, but that was a really nice moment right there. I love moments like that with the pits and the jokers. The pack roaring behind Hunter. Hunter trying... He wasn't going to beat Roman, but he was trying to beat that pack. Oh, no! Oh, calamity on the backstretch. Roman ran out of fuel. They didn't top him off. They didn't top him off in the pit lane. Roman trying to find a spare canister on the back of the hog. He finds it, and he's going to get back going here. That is unfortunate. Oh, my God. How could that happen? I didn't even know that we did fuel. What an error. What an error. That is unfortunate. Roman going to lose so much off of that. Can be nicely done. Last pit for Camby, maybe? Yeah, I think so, right? Would have to be. Look at this. Look at this. He'll have the run. No, he's going to let Soul go by. Have the run? Have the run? No, not quite. Not quite. Love moments like that. We didn't really get too many of those in the first moto. I'm glad we're getting stuff like that in the second moto. I'm hoping to see more like that in the future. So Roman, man, that's unfortunate. Great first moto. Looking good in the second moto. And yeah. He's gonna be looking for the third. Last pit of the race for Slaunch and Luke, and maybe the last pits of the race. Slaunch goes in. Long pit, he finishes it, but here comes Luke, and this might make things interesting because Luke's trying to find his stall. He has to go to the inside. Oh, and gets a little loose. That's gonna be a little slow exiting right there. And as you can see, that makes a big difference. Not only is it the slow exit, but it has to go through the dip as well. So if Luke maybe pit the next lap and didn't have to dodge Slaunch right there, maybe a mistake in the strategy there. Because as you can see, look at where Detail came out in front. That might be a moment of the race for Detail, because I imagine with that extra time of a normal pit stop, it would have been close. But with that gap on track, I think Luke probably would have had it. So that's a big moment in the race right there. And again, we're getting more of these. We're getting more of these strategy calls. We're getting more of these close pit exits in the second moto, which I'm loving. I think we're going to see a lot of this throughout the season. We just didn't get too much of it in the first moto. I'm glad we're getting it here in the second. But that being said, I believe we're done. I think everybody's done their pits, so no more of that for this race. Slaunch is going to be coming to 3 to go. Love that hook right there. And the battle... We might have a battle on. We might have a battle on for podium position. Luke trying to chase down Detail. Common spot of them battling. We'll see how this goes here. Slaunch, on the other hand, absolutely checked out. He had a great start. Got that clean air when Hunter made the mistake and absolutely made the most of it. He's going to be setting sail unless he runs out of fuel as well. Unless he runs out of fuel as well, he should be setting sail for a moto win here. The gaps, I don't know what it is, but we'll see how the last moto goes. But man, the gaps for the leader in particular, we're getting some battles elsewhere in the field, but the leader gaps have just been insane. You know, maybe combination of things, right? For one, street course and like this track in particular, clean air, I think very important. So I think that helps, and then also just being able to control the race, I guess. You know, as the leader, you kind of control the race in a sense with your pit strategy. I think that's kind of a nice thing here as well. I mean, on any track, but specifically for one like Long Beach here. Great track, by the way. Excited to see some variety from other forgers. Already starting off with that here with Long Beach, but throughout the rest of the season too. That's one thing that I'm really looking forward to this season. Luke might have a run here on Detail, but he's going to have to go deep, and a little too deep. Rolls it, but a good recovery. That might be it for the second place battle. As you can see, they are checked. Oh my goodness. Not only is Slaunch checked for the podium spot, but Jesus, the podiums are absolutely checked on these guys. But the mid-pack is roaring. Look at them go. Hunter's still leading it, then Camby. And then Vulcan, then Sol, then Opix. And then Roman running out of gas. Oh, man. Well, at least he's going again. But yeah, that might do it for the podium battle. Slaunch going to be coming to white flag here. We may still have a battle on in the mid-pack, though. Opix is not that far behind Sol. And Camby's not that far behind Hunter. We may not... Yeah, Opix is there. Opix is there. Let's see if we can dial it in. Excuse me. Let's see if we can dial it in here. Oh, Sol making some contact, but Opix not getting as good of a run. That's unfortunate. If Opix had a really good run right there, he would have got right up to Sol with that mistake. Slaunch absolutely taking the white flag, yes. So Slaunch going to be... trying to take, I guess you could call it a home race with in terms of the forging at least. Try to take a victory here, and it'd be nice for Slaunch. This will be the earliest start of a moto win that he's had in a hog season, I believe. We're not going to count Firestone Fire Hog. That wasn't a full hog season, so that might have been earlier. I don't know, but we're not going to count that. As far as a full hog season goes, this will be his earliest moto win, so that'll be a great start for him in the season. This will be a good bounce back moto for Detail too. Him and Slaunch both finishing in that mid top 5 area, not where they wanted to be. They're going to be 1-2 here. This is going to be great for them to make up for that first moto. And yeah, all he's got to do is just bring it across the line. I mean, he's got it locked up at this point. He is going to do it. Slaunch takes his first of the season in style. Oh, there we go. Here we go, taking it. Detail does hold on to that second place. Luke going to be on the podium again in third. Going to be in a good spot for the overall, but Slaunch going to be there too. Probably be a Slaunch-Luke battle for the overall. Of course, with the moto wins coming in as well. Hunter's still taking a top 5. Camby as well. Hunter and Camby putting top 5s on the board early. Vulcan. Opix. Got by Sol. What happened? Okay, we're going to have to take a look at a replay on that. What happened here? Sol's like not that far back. What happened? Oh yeah, so we're gonna have to do some fast forwarding. That's okay. As we're fast forwarding, I'll go through the order again. So yeah, it was Slaunch, Detail Luke, Hunter Camby, and then Vulcan, and then Opix and Sol. But Opix was behind... Oh, there we go. Yeah, this part of the track in general is just tricky. This is a really hard part of the track. This track, 90% of this track is the first sector in a way. There's so much time to be made and lost and mistakes and everything here. And as you can see, Sol... just trying to hold on to it. He has enough of a gap, too. He's probably going to be kicking himself for this. Just gets in too hot. Gets his tires up to a point where he just can't save it. Goes over. Looked very similar to Luke's flip that we just saw. It looked like damn near exactly the same. And yeah, it didn't cost him that much time. It was a good recovery, but it costed him just enough. It costed him just enough, and he's going to spend the rest of this lap trying to catch up. And it looked like he did catch up, but he probably just had to send it in the last corner. Opix doing exactly what he needed to do. Nothing wrong there. Soul trying to find the opening. Opix not giving the opening. Just have to go around me, and holds on to the spot there. And such is the nature. That is what you can do on these street courses. The mistakes are brutal. The mistakes are brutal. It'll be way easier to make up for them on the GPs, likely. But there you go. Again, top 3 one more time. Solange, Detail, and Luke. And yeah, that's our, that's what it looked like Grand Finals, right? Grand Finals Moto 2 RX a month ago. That might have been the exact order. I think it was Luke second, Detail third in that moto. I don't remember. They all find their way back on the podium. Hunter and Camby picking up some big top 5s early. And IndyHog's going to be competitive, especially in these street tracks. Like, IndyHog's going to be competitive. We're going to see, I think this will be more competitive than RX. Ovals too. I'm looking forward to this season. I think we'll have the most, we'll see, but I think we'll have the most variety in winning that we've seen in any of the Hog seasons. So we're off to a good start here with Long Beach. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't miss Moto 3. Reminder, it is a Triple Crown. 4 of these out of our 15 rounds. Don't miss it.